And out front now, as I promised, veteran tech analyst Dan Ives and Peter Tuckman. He's one of the most recognizable traders on Wall Street. I did not know this. I've known you both for very many years, but I did not know that you have a show together.
We do. It's a,
Ives
it's
and
a
Einstein.
Incarnation.
Einstein.
Yes.
And Einstein, you know, my nickname for you. Yes. So
you named me that.
I named you that. I think it's accurate in all regards. But here we are. And, you know, look, we try to laugh. I think that most people watching, people feel a deep sense of unease and uncertainty and fear. And I don't really know anybody who doesn't. Whatever your political persuasion may be, that's the feeling. Dan, you know, this swing we saw today, nearly 2,000 points. I mean, how would you describe it?
I'd say it's probably the scariest, or one of the top 2 or 3 scariest days that I've ever seen in the market in the last 25 years. Because when it comes to tech, you don't know the rules of the game, and ultimately, in my opinion, this is an economic Armageddon that's coming for the U.S. consumer and the economy. And I talk to tech executives, we talk to people around the world. And when it comes to U.S. tech, I mean, I think this is something that could send the U.S. tech industry back a decade. And I think recession is now starting to get baked into the market.
I mean, Peter, so you're there. You know, you see the market start off up, right? Which had been expected. You would have ups and downs and, you know, would not be seen as, okay, we're fine with this. But it's, nonetheless, it was a breath.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, boom.
So, you know, it was almost a bit of arrogance, in my opinion, because yesterday, look, we've had now the first time in history where you had 2 days back-to-back with 2,000-point swings. Yesterday was very significant in a lot of ways. People were asking, what needs to be done for people to start buying the market again, right? Yep. You remember Jim Cramer said the other day, I don't see a reason why anybody would buy stocks now. But it turns out that if there was a little breath between what's happening now in the aggressive narrative about tariffs and a little bit of leeway, right, which is what Mr. Ackman said yesterday, then you saw the buyers come into the market with abandon, right? Right. Trillions of dollars came in yesterday to buy the market once that came into
well, they thought, you know, Bill Ackman, the head fund manager, who as Trump supporter has come out against this, started out the feeling that maybe there'd be a pause, a 90-day pause, and that's when the money came in.
Correct. And so that think about that. It wasn't that we were getting rid of tariffs. It wasn't that we had figured them out. It was just a pause, gave the green light to buyers to come in yesterday with so much abandon that trillions of dollars came into the market in that period, a short period of time when that hit the tape. Today we came in, we were up 1,300 points on the Dow, 200 plus points on the S&P. We had a little breath. And then out of nowhere, it was almost a tantrum in a way, like nobody. And, you know, and then I sort of started reading about the weekend where there was a full court press by Elon Musk at the president about maybe we should revisit this thing. And then he came out almost like a kid in the playground going, you know what? No, 105% tariffs on China. And the market literally broke from having a really solid morning, a lot of money being put to work. We were up 1,300 points. I mean, it was a good, solid morning where you really got a little bit of sense that maybe we're getting a little bit of leeway and breath in the market, and then it completely broke.
What does it mean when you see? And I understand, you know, Elon can be up and down in terms of how he handles things, but the way that he is taking on Peter Navarro, who has been credited as sort of the most aggressive pusher of perhaps even higher tariffs than Trump went with.
Look, no one understands tariffs better than these tech leaders when it comes to Musk, Nadella, Cook, you know, obviously Jensen and others. So Musk, he's hearing it from the ground. You know, he's not just talking from a Beltway perspective. He's hearing it from Fremont, Texas, what's happened in Europe, what's happened in Asia. And when you look at what's happened with Navarro, I mean, Musk sees it front and center. It's a Category 5 storm coming, not just for tech, and we've talked about for the U.S. consumer. And look, in my opinion, it's the first step toward Musk, I believe, you know, leaving the government.
And you think, actually, when we put those up again, those posts, you know, when Elon Musk posted Peter Navarro is truly a moron. You actually think, I don't know whether anyone watching even laughs at this now or what a response might be, but you think that those posts were part of why we saw the market
slide? Look, I don't like to call anybody names. It's just not the way I roll. But it was amazing that he would really aggressively come at Navarro like that. Navarro being so up in the Trump world. But, you know, it started, You know what? It felt like there was a bit of a mutiny going on inside the Trump world, right? It happened over the weekend when apparently Elon Musk came at the president and said, we've got to back off. 4 of the congressmen decided to vote against tariffs. And it seemed like a lot of the people were falling off, standing really firm with Trump on this. And then for Elon Musk to really break with him to the point where he is aggressively, I mean, those are some bold words to call somebody who is the guy who's touting the tariff story with such abandon, to call him a moron that way.
And dumb as a bag of bricks. Right. I mean, can I just ask you, Dan, though, what does someone do right now? I mean, you could look at this and say, well, we are, 16 hours away from those coming into effect, and maybe they don't happen, and maybe there's a delay. And who the heck knows at this point?
Look, how we're navigating investors around the world, I mean, we haven't downgraded one stock. Because my view is that even if this lasts a few weeks and a month, and it is going to be buckle the seatbelt, and we've talked about it is going to be a brutal market. On the other side of it, I believe that these tariffs in some form get negotiated. If they don't, then ultimately you start to go with a recession sealed U.S. tech. You could have numbers go down 25, 30%. But this is, in my opinion, we're now getting to something that could even dwarf, anything that we've seen in terms of .com, financial crisis, in terms of the worries and the concerns and not knowing the rules of the game.
Well, we saw that with the VIX back up today, up to 58. That means that there's fear in the water for sure. We heard it with Richard Quest the other day when we were here with him. He called it economic vandalism. Right? Vandalism is when somebody walks down the street with a bat and smashes windows for absolutely no reason. That's self-inflicted situation that was confirmed today when Mr. Trump came out and said, you know what?
Coming for the U.S. consumer.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you both. I'm always glad to see you. Glad you're a part of this show and your own show, of course, Einstein and Ives. I'm so glad to have had a part in that. I don't know how it took me to name you that.
It's a wonderful duo.
It's so obvious.
How we found each other.
You found each other.
And we are the best dressed people on Wall Street, right?
I think so.
Clearly.
Because everyone should know these are essentially uniforms in their own sense.
These are uniforms, absolutely.
All right. I'm glad to have a laugh. Thank you. There are not very many of them right now.